How you going? Gary here from Platform 1 MRC. Glad you could join me again. Recently I got contacted by Will Moran, who's a member of HO Scale Shelf Modelers on Facebook, and he asked me about adding trash to a layout. So I messaged him back with a few photos, and I said, look, I'll also put these photos up in the group as well. So a few other guys on the group, there's 18,000 members there, could see what I've done to, dirty up the layout. One thing led to another, and I've had a few comments there, hey, would love to see, how you go about this. So I said, okay, what I'll do a little YouTube video for you, a little presentation on how I go about it. So last weekend I carved up a little bit of a foam core, made a little 13" by 6.5" diorama, put some track on, scenery, what have you, building, level crossing or grade crossing. And throughout this video you're about to see, I went through and you could say trashed the layout. A lot of these products that you see that I'm using are things that you will have at home, and there's a few things that I've purchased from places like mini prints, 3D printed items and that. So I'll let you get down and have a look at this movie and leave a comment, and if you've got any questions, put them down in the chat below in the comments section, or have a look on HO Scale Shelf Modelers, or you can come across the Platform 1 MRC where I've got a whole layout thread about my layout around me here, called Sunshine, Palm Trees and a Food Industry. Anyway, enjoy the video. Cheers, Gary. Glad you could join me for this tutorial about adding trash to a layout. Now, I've just recently built this small diorama. It's 6.5" by 13" in length, and this is what I'm going to use to add my various pieces of trash to this. And it shows that there are things that we have in our spares box, or little bits and pieces that we throw out that we tend to use, or what we can use to detail a layout for trash. So let's get this out of the way and let's get on to showing you a few of the detail items that I've got. Let's get into that. Let's go. Alright, I'm going to start off with 3D printed stuff from mini prints, and as you can see here, what we have are just rail chairs. Now these come in sets of 10 on a little sprue from mini prints, as I said, and I just spray paint them black, then hit them with weathering powders. Basically make up a rusty colour here, which is basically your rust and your black, and dip the paintbrush in isopropyl, pick up some weathering powders to paint these. So these are part of your detailing items. That's one thing. Another thing I've got here is it just says 3D printed parts. A mate of mine made some truck batteries, which are very tiny, quite small, but once these are painted up, they don't look too bad. I'll show you a photo of what these look like on my Miami layout. Another 3D printed item from mini prints are their garbage bins. Now they come on a sprue like this, so you get lids in your bins, and I just hit them with a little bit of silver paint to get that gow look. So there's 2 bins, 1 lid. So these are ideal for detailing around a layout. Look, whether it's going to be trash down the side of a layout, against a building, in a backyard of a premises, whatever, these are great little additions to the layout. So moving right along, I would have here some mini prints milk crates, but so just a couple other little detail items we got. A couple of cardboard boxes. Now these are all made up, they're quite small. These ones have got trash in them. These are your typical sort of brown cardboard colour. These are green, more trash in them. So these basically will be lying over on their side, whichever, with the trash pouring out of them. And you can just dot these anywhere around the layout, especially roadside. So there's another great little item that you can knock up. Basically with those, I cut out like a cross, you could say, of the brown paper or any other coloured paper, and place a small piece of balsa wood in the centre, then fold up all the sides and adhere with super glue. On the bottom of these old mini print garbage bins, you get a lot of sprue, or you get a bit of sprue from mini prints anyway, And what I've done there, I've actually broken it up into pieces like this. And I know they still look a little bit blue, but they have been sprayed with a little bit of grey primer anyway. And what I'm going to do is get a closer look. Actually, I'll take a couple of photos of these pieces here that look a little bit brown. And what they are is concrete with the Rio mesh hanging out of the bottom. So that's a great little detail there. So basically, break up some plastic or styrene or whatever you got, or some of the 3D printed base plate. As you can see, it's all jagged shapes, different shapes and all that, and just super glue on some wire. So the same wire you use for wiring up a layout, just strip it down, pull out the strands and glue it backwards and forwards, then paint it a rusty colour. So they're nice little detail items. So these are some of the things that we're going to be putting on the module, and I've actually got a few more things here. Now, this might be a bit small to see, but hopefully we'll be able to see them. What I'll do, I'll tip them out on the table here. And you can see just here, what I've done is cut up some styrene strip and made bricks. Now they're quite small, they're only 2.5 mil by maybe 0.5 mil by 1 millimeter in size. So these gathered together in a little pile can go in with the broken up concrete or anything, the boxes of rubbish, litter, even an old gate that I've had from scratch building one of the fences previously, you can use that. So building refuge, always good stuff to have around to scatter junk along a railway or along a railroad line. So I'll just put all these bricks back in here, and we'll see what else we got. Now there's a company out there called Wheeler, and Wheeler do these really great ceramic tyres, and they're pretty much the right colour. They're bang on the money. There's tread in them and everything, and they do come in different sizes. So you basically got maybe a 14-inch tyre and or a rim to suit maybe a 15-inch rim. But all those cars basically from the 70s, 80s, 90s, these are in scale, and these are great to put around the layout. So we'll definitely be putting a few of these on the diorama. Now, these are a product I get from here in Australia, and what they are white metal 44-gallon drums, but they're when you get them, they're silver. I've actually sprayed them black, sprayed them blue like this one, and applied a rust over the top, which is just your weathering powder. It's nice and propyl, and they'll look good scattered around alongside the building on the diorama there. Also, you never go away without a tarp. So there's a tarp already tied up, just a bit of paper that's all been folded up, coloured paper, and then a piece of cotton tied around it to keep it together. With that, of course, at a building site, you're going to need a few pallets. Now, whether they're broken or they're full pallets, always good to have. So a couple of scale pallets always come in handy as trash. So that broken one there, that is perfect for general trash, especially line side. And of course, your bits of timber. Now these are just balsa, and as you can see, I'll just take out these drums. I've cut this down to different sizes, different lengths and all that, and the balsa's been soaked in a little bit of India ink. Just let it sit in there for about 5 minutes, pull it out, rest it on a bit of tissue paper, let the excess dry out or evaporate, and you end up with a nice stained timber. Has got that silvery finish as well, so that will be useful on the layout as well. Now, one thing that you do see, and especially along gutters and all that and roadsides, is leaf litter. So what better to use than actually dried leaf that's been shredded up really fine. This you can use under bushes, gutters, roadside, build up against the buildings, and that especially if you've got a deciduous tree, planted out the front of the either a house or a building, a garage, whatever. Fill up the gutters on the garage full of leaf litter, make it prototypical, make it look real. Now one thing we haven't touched on yet is paper. Now as you can see here, I've cut paper up in various sizes. I'll tip a few out in my hand here. Oh, come on. They're all sticking in there with a bit of friction. Now that's white paper and a bit of beige paper. Now don't go and use any paper. That's what I find. I use newsprint. The reason I use newsprint is because it's a muted colour. Don't use glossy magazine print. That will look wrong on a layout. You got to go for the subdued colours. I'll just grab a newspaper and I'll show you what I mean. So this is what I mean about subdued colours. Nothing is bright, nothing shiny. This is what you're after. So you can see the greens are fairly flat, the purples, this maroon up here, even the red. It's got that nice weathered look. This colour in here, through here, in the background, where it's a little bit mottled, that is perfect for things. So that's great. And even the darker colours, you know, you need a bit of black, you know, cut a little bit out of this black suit here. Blues, yellows, bright yellows, all the colours are there. So even when you look on the back on the sports page here, you know, you got more red, you got greens, you got blues, you got more yellows, different shades of green. I've actually used this colour green here to create some of the boxes here that I've got, and it is newsprint, as I said, folded up around a small block of balsa. So as I said, don't go the shiny stuff. Nothing worse than seeing shiny rubbish. Now, also with rubbish, what you want to do to get that nice fine stuff along the line and all that is to actually shred some paper up really, really fine. Now, in here, I've got grey, I've got white, and I've also got a little bit of the beige paper in there as well. So that all helps. And this is stuff that gets caught up under trees, under bushes, you know, maybe in the webbing of the rail and all that, up against the buildings, amongst the grass. This is what you need. Fine rubbish like this. This is everywhere. Also, little bits of brown paper. Now, this has just been stripped off a cardboard box, just nice fine stuff that you find lying around, blowing around and all that. Just tear it up to any size, any shape, and this will be perfect for just litter that's blown around. Now, I think I've covered everything here from the boxes. Oh, one last thing. Black garbage bag, plastic. So what you line your bins with, just tear off a little bit of black plastic. You know, you can scrunch this up, add a little bit of CA to it. It looks like a piece of builder's plastic that they've used to cover a sand pile, or, you know, something in a building yard or work zone. So little bits of that torn up. Black is ideal. Well, that's pretty much all the items I've got here. Now, for the model itself, I'm just going to zoom out again. So for the diorama itself, I could have used little things like a piece of Armco, you know, a little bit of Armco railing, or a one of the big concrete barriers, road barriers, you know. I could have put one here, anywhere on there. They're the sort of things that can also add to a scene. Now this is only small, and we're going to use a majority of this waste that I've got over here. And basically what I'm going to do is either dab a little bit of CA down and apply this, because you can actually do little runs, pour it on, especially when it comes to the wood, you know, the wood chips under the bushes and all that kind of stuff. Even the bricks, you know, the building material, all that kind of stuff, we can build up in piles throughout the module here. So let's get started. I might move the camera in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to start up at this end of the diorama here, and we're going to add a few things in and around. So there's two ways I mentioned, or one way was with the CA, the other way is with a bit of, I know it says tomato sauce on there, but it's actually your ballast solution in a sauce bottle. I find this great because you can actually turn the nozzle and control the flow. So what we might do is actually wet this area down here a little bit, and we're going to use some of the larger paper, some of the finer paper, and some of the leaf litter that would be falling under this vine here. Just going to tilt this up so we can get this in here. Don't worry if you put too much on, it'll all dry out. It is like a ballast solution, as I said. There we go. First up, I'm just going to sprinkle in some leaf litter. So, I know you can't actually hold the module up like this if you're working on the layout at home, but what I do is take a piece of paper or a piece of card, same again as the paper. We can do that. We can actually take the paper. I'm going to tilt this up again, sprinkle a little bit of paper and debris along the bottom of the fence. Not too much there. And we can use a paintbrush and we can just flick all that around. Just got to take it off the vine. You know, you will get bits of rubbish caught up in a vine and what have you, but you don't want it up there straight away. Now I've got two brushes here, fairly broad brush and a nice fine brush. So I'm just going to use a broad one and we're just going to poke that in, drop it down into position, and that ballast solution that we put down, that'll soak up into the paper. With that, we'll take some of the larger squares of paper, we'll just close these ones up, get them out of the way. And this is best to use your hobby knife here. Just pick out a few random pieces out of the lot here. I'm just going to tip some down on the container. Pick it up and wedge it against the fence. Make it look like it's caught up, it's blown in there. Now this paper being very thin will allow the glue to soak in fairly quickly and it will return to the white colour. I'll just put one of these other browner pieces in here. We'll just throw one on the corner here. Now somebody down the local hobby shop asked me, so what do you do for things like Coke cans and if you want to throw a few of them around? Well, mini prints do the glass bottles, which I do have, but where they are I don't know. But I thought about using some 0.66mm styrene rod, the same rod that I've used on my fences, on the post here, what have you, for the crossbucks, and actually just spray painting or painting them red, cut them down to size and just touching the tops with a little bit of silver paint, the top, the bottom, and you can throw a few Coke cans around too. In through here, what I'm going to do on the other side is we're going to take some of the leaf litter again, and also the trash paper, and a few of the boxes. So we're just going to wet this in. And we're going to get our leaf litter in there first. Now if you find that it's drying up fairly quickly, you can always, you know, do another application of glue over the top and it will seal it all in there. Alright, back to the fine paper. You can even move your bushes over, throw it in underneath as well. And we'll just use a brush and we'll just push that in. As I said, we're going to use some of the cardboard boxes here. So we're just going to throw this one right in under the bush here. Just a nice dab of CA. Take the box, throw it in where you'd expect it to be, you know. We can actually throw another one in there too. So we might throw another one out here. Couple of dabs of CA, throw that one in and put that in there like so. Now that just looks like someone's dumped some rubbish there. Maybe a little brown box as well. And we can bring that one closer to the road. And a little dab of CA. And this one here can, whoop, Tweezers are always handy for getting these into position, so we'll just drop them in there like so. If we wanted to add some larger paper, we could do that. You just don't want to go overboard with it, just here and there sort of thing, just a couple little bits and pieces. And we'll just drop that in, then use our scalpel just to push it into position. I'll just take that one up through here a bit further. And that'll do that. Now it's quite simple to do this. Like I said, so far what we've put down here is all the freebie stuff. Stuff that you tend to throw out. You don't normally keep around the layout. We will add maybe a tyre or two in there as well. Grab two of these tyres. Now, what I will say about putting these tyres down, these are ceramic. Now, if you dropped CA over the top of it, they're going to become shiny and black. So you best actually maybe just put a drop of CA down and then throwing the tyre down on top of that. And put one here. Now if you do want to have one standing in against the tyre, hopefully I can turn it around and show you that a little bit better there. We can put a little bit of CA on the fence here and run it down just on the edge of that, and we'll just stand that one in like so. You want to try and make it look as natural as possible, like someone's come along and dumped this rubbish trackside. Okay, let's turn this module around and we will work through this section here against the building. So a few things that you could have lying around here would be things like pallets, bits of timber, the garbage bin, a couple of boxes, and just a general trash. Leaf litter, maybe a little bit in the gutter here or something like that, but not so much. You know, you could build up a little bit against the edge of the building there. Let's see how we go. We'll grab out a few of the building items. We've got pallets. Just going to put this out in front of me. So let's hypothetically throw a pallet in like so. We can throw one of the garbage bins in here as well. We've got one of them already painted up. Now one thing you can do with these little garbage bins from mini prints is actually fill them full of trash. So we can take some of the shredded up paper that's over here and we can actually fill that bin up. We might even do that. Okay, fill that bin up full of trash, just off camera there. So what we're going to do, we're going to sort of build this scene up through here. So we've got the little tarp that we can use, and what better place to put the tarp than on that pallet. So what we might do is actually throw the pallet down, and we're just going to throw it down on an angle. You can see these pallets like painted up and weathered, and you can see the edges being painted yellow as well. So just little details like this alone, you know, painting the edge of the pallets is something that you actually see in real life. So we might just put a bit of CA on the back of this pallet, and you're going to glue it down so it can be possibly picked up by a forklift or what have you. So we'll just put it down like so. Hold it there. Let's throw the tarp down on the pallet as well. It's just been thrown down there. And the bin, we'll glue that into place as well. So I'm just going to put a little bit of CA on the end of the bin, and we'll put it right up against the building there. If I can stand it up. Like so. Around the base of this is where we can throw some of this sort of torn up litter and all that. So we can actually flood that in with a little bit of the white glue again, or the ballast mix. So I'm just going to tilt this up so we can get that in there. That will do it. And we'll just sprinkle a bit of this in and around the rubbish pile here. Now you can take this sort of rubbish just around the corner onto the grass area here as well. And this is the area where we're going to use a few of the 44-gallon drums. So I'm just going to wet that down with a little bit of PVA or ballast solution. I know that looks a bit too much, but it'll dry up just fine. down alongside the railway there, maybe where the railroad tracks, is maybe a few bits of timber that we've had. Doesn't matter what it is, any size. Just come out of the factory here, just been dumped, and just put on randomly. Don't worry about how it goes on. Just create that like it's just been thrown down. Doesn't have to be anything special, and you can actually secure all that with a spot of CA over the top. So I'm just going to drop some CA on, and wherever it falls, it'll stick. And we can throw a little bit more of this timber on. Now some of these larger pieces you do want coming down, touching the ground. You just don't want them floating in the air. So some of these are going to be a little bit just on my fingers. So they just look like they've been sitting there for a while. Now these 44-gallon drums, as I mentioned, they're nice and rusty, and we're going to throw one of them in. We might even throw this one on its side, like it's been spilling out. And to do that, again, CA. We might even throw it down here in this little gap between the grass and the weeds here. So we're just going to throw in some CA in there. And we'll put the rusty side up, or the open side I should say. Just hold it into position. And that will do that. Now there's a few of these. Even if I want to throw a few back around the front here, maybe one of these blue ones, we can throw one, we'll throw one down. I'll throw one in here. Stand this one up. Now of course you're going to get bits of paper and stuff that blow along here, so we will use some of our paper here. And again, what we'll do, we'll throw in a bit of the PVA mix, or the ballast mix I should say. And we're just going to pick it up with the knife. Now if you can't pick it up with a knife like that, what I like to do is just lick the knife, a little bit of moisture, pick it up, throw it down, pick it up, throw it down. A little bit more moisture from your tongue, and just throw it down. Now you can scrunch this up a little bit, you can do what you want, you know, like it's been caught under stuff, and get that real rubbishy look. Now the brown paper is great for anything that's like packaging material. Whoop. So we might throw a few lengths of that in there, a few pieces I should say. Grab that one, and we'll just throw him in under these sleepers here, or these bits of timber. You've blown up against there, and grab a few more of them. Now don't make your paper uniform in size, vary the size of the paper. And just a sprinkle of the torn up stuff. That's blown around from out the front here. What do you reckon? A couple of car tyres in there as well? Why not? You can always put a stack of car tyres out the front here. So what we might do is just put a dab of CA on here. And go one of the bigger tyres, so that one. And a little dab on top. Throw another one on top there. And and maybe another 1 or 2 or 3. Doesn't really matter how many you put on. Make them random, make them stand out, make them look like they've been sitting here for a little while. And make sure the car tyres are facing up the right way, because these tyres from Dewheeler have got a flat side and they've got the detailed side, so you want to have that detailed side up showing. A bit of that leaf litter through there. And as you can see, we're slowly building this up. Starting to get that real rough industrial look to the layout. Now, let's go down the other side of the track here. And we'll run down along the fence line here, and maybe a pile of that concrete in here that I've got. Maybe those bricks, we'll throw in that sort of thing. Okay, let's start off with the concrete, and you can see there's a bit of a gap here in the grass. We'll make it look like that a dump truck's come down here and just thrown a pile of refuge in here. The little pieces that I got here with the Rio mesh, we're going to put them down first. So we're going to just randomly glue them down. So what I'm going to do is flood an area full of CA. So we'll just now, when you think about it, your pile's going to be just over the width of a tip truck. So when you throw this down, you just want it to go in there any old way. You want that mesh being shown. We'll throw a few bricks into this as well. And you'll find with when they do dump concrete and things like that the finer material will sit up the top and fill the gaps. So we're just going to hit that with a little bit of CA again, let it all soak in. Now I do know that this looks blue like I said before, but we're gonna weather and texture this as well. So what we'll do now, we will throw a few bricks amongst this. I'll glue these down. So I'll just drop a little bit of CA over the top of them. The CA will dry clear, and when we weather it up, that'll hide a bit of it too. Let's throw a bit of timber on. Some of these broken up pieces here that we got. Piece on the back there. You can break some of this down. Now with this pile of rubbish, we've got the timber in, the bricks in, we can throw a bit of that chopped up paper around the base where it's sort of caught up a little bit, blown in, up the road here, trackside, and we're just going to wet that in with a little bit of the solution here. Wet it in. You can see this starts to evaporate fairly quickly. And maybe a bit of that plastic as well that we've had. The black plastic, builder's waste. Let's just jam a piece in through here like so. So it looks like it's caught up underneath the concrete and what have you. Use your hobby knife, just poke it into the hollows wherever. Maybe just take a bit over the back here as well. You know, the world's your oyster when it comes to adding details like this. Trash, I should say, because you see it in the real world, it's everywhere. So I might just add a little bit of CA to that one, just to help it stick. And over the top here as well, that'll do that. Why not take this pallet and we'll bust it, we'll give it a break. And now we've got a few bits of pallet and all that, we can just throw it down anywhere in there. Going to glue it down. And one other thing we can add to this sort of area here is the cardboard boxes, maybe up towards the top here, and we'll just put these up near the fence here. Someone's come along and just dumped here, seen the pile of rubbish here and thought that's a great place to dump rubbish. So this one here I've modelled actually spewing the rubbish outside the box. So I'll just throw that one down like so. A couple of cardboard boxes, just normal brown boxes that you see everywhere. That's not actually sticking, so we're just going to take him away and go again with a bit more CA and push him back into position. Got another one here. Throw one over the back here. This one's a little bit taller, a little bit longer. And we might just throw one, say in the middle of the path here, like it's blown away. Slightly open, so it'll get that look. We can actually put it in there any direction, doesn't matter which way it goes. Now what I do have here is some nice fine, it's actually from 3D printing. It looks like wire and what have you. So we can take bits of that and actually cut it up into smaller bits, or maybe just snap it. We can add anywhere to this pile of refuge here. This sort of stuff that you could actually place throughout the concrete here, so it looks like it's all caught up. And it's just little bits and pieces that you need. You don't need a lot, just to give the idea that yep, there's rubbish sitting here, someone's illegally dumped a load of crap. And what I do have over here that'll make this look alright is some of this chain wire. So here's this piece of chain wire, hopefully you can see that up against the building. So it's the same sort of rusty colour as this. We might just twist it around a little bit, give it a bit of a fold, a bit of a twist, and we'll just dump it along the fence here. What we'll do, we'll just drop in some CA in through there, poke it down, That'll be enough there to hold into place hopefully. Yep, there we go. Maybe a little bit more debris up against that fence, some of this other litter. Let's find the litter now. There we go. I'm just going to tilt the model over and just go in along here, around the rubbish pile here, maybe down a little bit further along the fence line is where you're going to get all your paper and what have you, and we're just going to flood that in with a little bit of the ballast solution. And we'll just let that sit. Now we're going to let this dry. Actually before we go, we'll add a little bit of trash and litter to the tracks. That's always important. So we might just, every now and then, we'll just put a drop of, you're going to get litter. And the other place you're going to get it is right up against the timbers here in the crossing. I'll just push that down. And remember, various sizes, various shapes, not all the same, doesn't have to be uniform. Having hard up against the rail on the outside. Just squeeze a piece in there. And just wet him in. The more random you put these pieces in, the better they'll look. You actually go through with some of the finer trash along here, little bits and pieces along the rail edge. Don't forget the far end. And it's these finer bits of paper that'll make the whole scene pop. Let's just go through and wet them in. Whoop, big blob there. Whoop, another big blob there. Yeah, we'll stuff a bit of black plastic up here too. Now, run some CA. Throw that down. Throw a bit of litter on top of that one. We'll just hold it down. Well, I'm pretty happy with the way that's looking. We've got a couple of other little bricks here, but I might throw these in towards the end after we weather this concrete up. So let's let this dry and we'll come back to this in a couple of hours. Okay, as I mentioned before, these bits of concrete here are little bits and pieces of the base plate that some mini prints details come on that I've broken up, and I actually sprayed them with some enamel primer. Now it was a grey primer, and you can see it still looks a little bit blue. So what I'm going to do, we're going to use some weathering powders, normally some white and some grey, and also some isopropyl alcohol. Hopefully you can see that. And what I'll do is use this small lid here. I'm going to spray some isopropyl, just enough that we can puddle it in there. And we're going to take some grey powder, dab your paint into the isopropyl, pick enough up. Now this is only light grey, and we're just going to dab this on. Okay, it looks dark going on, but I'm telling you now that this will dry a lot lighter than what you think. As you can see on the brush, it is quite a light grey. And what the isopropyl does is it'll soften the enamel paint underneath and allow the powders to bind into the paint itself. Now I've done that. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white just to highlight some of this. Just going to wash a bit of that grey out with the brush. Get the white down, and now we're just going to highlight a little bit of the white, only a little bit here and there, just over the top. Because as we know, concrete's not exactly grey, it's not exactly white. There's a bit of a happy medium in there. You can actually see the colour coming through now, and it's starting to look a little bit more like aged concrete. So that's all we're going to do. Anyway, I'm going to call this done. What I'm going to do is bring the camera down a little bit closer to the module, and we can focus in on the different scenes of this diorama. Well, there you go, guys. Nice close-up shot of the detail that we've added to this little diorama. You can see the boxes under there full of trash dumped under the bushes. The rubbish can, tarp on a pallet, tyres, rusty drums, bits of old timber, paper, builder's plastic blowing around. Down into the foreground here, more builder's plastic, all that dumped concrete, broken pallets, cardboard boxes, more trash. So all these little detail items you would have already. And it's just a matter of knowing how to use them, and I hope this video has helped you guys out there. Just a shout out to the guys on HO Scale Shelf Modelers who requested this video. Without you guys wanting to know how this is done, I probably wouldn't have made this video. So I do hope you learn a thing or two, because knowledge is powerful, and sharing our ideas on groups as such is always rewarding. Now, if you do have any questions, you can pop them below in the comments section, or you can get me on HO Scale Shelf Modelers, or the forum that I'm on constantly, which is platform1mrc.com, where what you see here I have detailed out anyway. And the great thing about it is all the information about my layout build and several other people's layout builds, our members' layout builds, are all there, and they're easy to find and navigate, which is unlike Facebook. Here today, gone tomorrow. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate your subscription. And you know what I'm going to say next? Take care, stay safe, and keep on modelling. Cheers, Gary.